Round, we orbit round, yeah, orbit round, 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 we're off the ground. We orbit round, round, orbit round, we orbit round, we just round, round, orbit round, we orbit round, 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 orbit round, we orbit round, 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 orbit round, we orbit round. Well, we rode her on off of Path 39B, the most sophisticated baby that you ever did see. And when we hit the ignition and we left the ground, man, our tail was shaking, pushing 8 million pounds. We orbit round, round, orbit round, we orbit round, 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 we orbit round, orbit round, 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 wah, 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 wah. Now we're racking up the miles with a whole lot of power. We're going 17,500 an hour. Well, we can take her up high and we can bring her down low. The only thing we can't do is order pizza to go. We orbit round, round, orbit round, we orbit round, 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 we orbit round, 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 orbit round, we orbit round, yeah, orbit round, 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 we're off the ground, we orbit round, orbit round, we orbit round, 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 we orbit round, round, 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 orbit round, we orbit round.
Don't stop. Good morning.
Discovery Houston, good morning. How are you doing?
Great tunes. You're loud and clear.
Roger that. We're about 1:20 till LOS Teedrus will speak to you at Canberra in about 24 minutes. We don't have anything for you right now.
Okay, we'll be up and about by then.
And Discovery, your morning mail will be delivered next Teedrus Pass.
Okay, we won't go up the box yet. Okay, we're ready to run this experiment by Mr. Lloyd Bruce. McDonnell Douglas Corporation helped him put this experiment together. And it's a very interesting experiment in metallurgy. He has established 4 titanium wire grains enclosed in these vacuum tubes. There's a power supply here with a series of switches. And we got cameras set up that will let you see this. When I throw electric current through this wire, it's going to heat it up above the melting point of the titanium in the case of these first 2 tubes. And then the re-solidification of that material may be different in weightlessness than it is on Earth. Mr. Bruce will be doing a similar experiment on Earth to compare with the results with what we get here today. The concept is that maybe in zero G, the crystals that form when this material resolidifies might be more pure and therefore stronger material then would be available from a Earth manufacturing process. So we've got 4 samples here. And if you're ready to watch down there on Earth, we'll go ahead and continue the experiment.
Mike, we're watching right now.
Okay, I'm going to do tube number 1 here, and as I activate it, David will bring the close-up camera in for a view. Houston Discovery, I don't know if you could see it there. The wire glowed pretty brightly here. I can't tell if it melted. We got to wait a minute for the equipment to cool off before we the next one.
And Mike, we could see that glowing.
And here we go with wire number 2. And now we're waiting again for the equipment to cool off before doing wires 3 and 4.
Okay, Mike, you might want to know also, we're going to lose TV in about 1 minute 40 seconds. We should have about a 40-second dropout and then pick it back up Mila at 49 plus 21.
Okay.
It's actually 22 hours, 49 minutes.
Well, we could just wait for the next 2 until we get a solid coverage over Mila, if you like.
I think that'd be a good idea.
All right, we'll do that. So David will do a song and dance while we wait.
We're watching. And Mike, just for your information, we did not expect the first 2 wires to melt.
Copy that.
You're through Mila at this time.
Okay, we'll go on to wire number 3. Okay, that was tube number 3. Hadn't really lit up, and in tube number 4. David, looks like another cloudy day down in Houston today.
I haven't been outside for about 6 or 7 hours. I wouldn't know.
And Houston, we're ready for the last wire. And Houston, it looked like wire number 4 did break right at the last second.
Okay, Mike, we copy that. Thank you.
Houston, how much TV coverage do we have left here?
Mike, we've got about 4 minutes left.
Okay. And Houston, do you still have a picture down here in the middeck?
That's affirmative, Rick.
Okay, over the last year and a half since we've been named a crew, we've gotten a lot of letters from a lot of young people. And I think with this student experiment that Mike just completed, it's appropriate to read one that I think was particularly meaningful to us. It's from P.J. Morgan of Brooklyn, New York. Said, "Dear Mr. Hauck, I'm a worried 14-year-old that is worried about the future. I feel that some of America's future is riding on you and your crew's shoulders. I give you all the inspiration I can give you because your ride this fall means so much to me. I called PJ to just before we launched, spoke with his mother and spoke with himself. He was inspired by his science teacher, Mr. Santoro, at St. Mark's Parochial School in Brooklyn, to write this, because he had some concerns about the future of America and whether we were still capable of doing things that make us a great country. I thought it was a particularly good letter and really sent home to us how much the experiences we have here in space can have an effect on the youngsters of America. I'd like to thank PJ for sending this letter to us and hope that all the other youngsters out there, not only in America but other parts of the world that may be watching, can see that we are back on track and we have a lot of technological benefits that will come in the future.
Discovery Houston, thank you very much for that letter. I think he was expressing the cares and thoughts of a lot of Americans. That was very nice. And also for Mike, Lloyd Bruce expresses his thanks for the experiment and the job well done. He had expected wire number 3 to break, was a little surprised that it didn't, but he's real happy with the results that he did get.
Well, on closer examination, it looks like 3 is loose in there. I didn't see it come loose while it was lit, but it is loose. And thanks to Mr. Bruce for the privilege of helping him with his science here.
We copy that, Mike. Thanks.
Well, we'll see you on the next pass and look forward to talking to you, showing you some more TV later.
And we'll look forward to it also, Rick.
Mission Control Houston, we're still taking a sketchy TV signal from the Discovery as we pass near the outer environs of the Mila tracking station. The last 2 downlinks from Discovery on this stateside pass through the Vandenberg and Mila tracking stations were devoted to the student experiment of Lloyd Bruce.
And think got a good picture.
Okay, David, you got a picture?
That's affirmative.
And doing the second of our 2 student experiments, Mike did the first one earlier. This one is called membrane, and it's an experiment that was designed by Salvatore Richard Covey, who went to Union College in Schenectady And Richard now is a medical student, so he has moved on from these experiments and moved up to succeed in college and on to medical school, so he's going on to big things. This experiment consists of these tubes I'm going to activate. I've activated 2 of the 3, and I'll do one more here on the camera so you can see what it is. I'll get it. It's a tube with a number of chambers in it, and in one side it has lead acetate, and the other side it has potassium iodide. I'm going to remove some blocks on here that has little O-rings to seal them off that allow those 2 compounds to mix in the center chambers. And these 2 center chambers are separated by what's called a semi-permeable membrane, so that the 2 compounds will mix on a surface that looks kind of like a piece of nylon or a piece of screen. And it's on that surface that they're going to react to form lead iodide crystals. So let me go ahead and crank these out, and then I'll show you what some of the crystals look like. I need 3 hands to do this, so DLT Covey will land one here. And now all I'm doing is retracting the plug on the one side to allow the solution to mix in. All the way out. It's all the way out. And you can see there are some air bubbles. This experiment consists of these, so I'm going to activate. I've activated 2, the 3, and I'll do one more here on the camera so you can see what it is. I'll get it. It's a tube with a number of chambers in it, and in one side it has lead acetate, and the other side has potassium iodide. And I'm going to remove some blocks that has little O-rings to seal them off that allow those 2 compounds to mix in the center chambers. And these 2 center chambers are separated by what's called a semi-permeable membrane, so that the 2 compounds will mix on a surface that looks kind of like a piece of nylon or a piece of screen. And it's on that surface that they're going to react to form lead iodide crystals. So let me go ahead and crank these out, and then I'll show you what the crystals look like. I need 3 hands to do so. DL Covey will land one here. And now all I'm doing is retracting the plug on one side to allow the solution to mix in. All the way out. It's all the way out. And you can see there's some air bubbles in each of the chambers, and that's how I can tell you're in space, I guess. They don't behave very normally at all. They kind of tend to sit in the middle of the chamber. And for any of you budding physics students out there, maybe you think about which direction the bubble would move if I move the chamber. So if I slide it over to my right like this, you can see the bubbles, they all move to the right even faster than I do. I want to tell you what happens that you can think about that one. Okay, I've got these mixed now, and the 2 solutions are migrating towards the center semi-permeable membrane, and when they meet there, I'll step over. Okay, if we can go to the flight camera. Okay, and when they meet there, they form crystals. You can see the yellow crystals growing on the semi-permeable membrane. And this apparatus here has been activated, I'd say, for about 5 minutes. And crystals are growing at a pretty good rate. There are 2 other of these. We're going to sit them back into the chamber and do some taping to the crystal and let them go for 20 minutes. And we'll carefully close it up and let them cook along the rest of the mission and send them back to Union College when we get back.
And Discovery Houston for P. Just to, unfortunately, Richard Davoli couldn't be here today. He's back home in New York. I'm sure he's following this closely, and he appreciates it, and he'll be anxiously awaiting the results.
Okay, he probably had some tests to take since he's in medical school.
And Discovery Houston for Pinky, customer support room states from what they can see, the crystals look outstanding.
Hey, look good to hear. Chambers evidently have different concentrations because the first chamber has drawn the crystals a lot faster than the other two, but they're coming along. And Houston, if you like, we can turn on some payload bay cameras and turn it to you.
Okay, we'll take that. We've got about a minute 42 left in Hawaii, and we should pick you up about 2 minutes, two teachers.
Okay, you have cameras Bravo and Charlie. And you have command.
Okay, thank you.
The sun is behind the starboard domes pod now, for your reference.
Oh yeah, we've got a beautiful picture. And Discovery Houston, we're got TV back again through Vandenberg.
Mission Control, Houston now, mission elapsed time 2 days, 0 hours, 21 minutes. Discovery passing over the west coast of the United States at this time as we take some payload bay camera views from Discovery through the Vandenberg station. On the previous television from Discovery through Hawaii, we had Mission Specialist Pinky Nelson on the middeck working with the crystal membrane experiment. Student involvement program, and the student experimenter involved in that is Richard Covey of Marlboro, New York. He's ill and not with us today. He is home. Richard's experiment was on Challenger during the 51L flight, and during the State of the Union address which followed that mission, President Reagan mentioned Richard by name. Richard was in the gallery in the Capitol during that address. The President mentioned Richard by name and promised him that we would endeavor to fly his experiment again. Post-flight analysis of the experiment will be done at Union College in Schenectady, New York. Union College sponsored Richard in his endeavors with this experiment. Space Shuttle Houston, now 2 days, 0 hours, 26 minutes. We've transitioned to the Mila station and still are taking some video from Discovery's payload bay cameras. The INCO officer has command of the cameras at this point, is zooming in on the coastline that Discovery's passing over.
Looks like Galveston's got a beautiful day. It's still a little cloudy up in Clear Lake.
Looks like a spectacular view from up there.
Yeah, it's really terrible having to look out at you guys like this.
I bet.
Discovery.
Discovery Houston, go ahead.
Roger, I guess this weekend is the weekend for the Ellington Air Show, is it not?
That's affirmative.
Well, I hope we have better weather tomorrow. Is the Blue Angel supposed to perform both days, or today or tomorrow?
Rick, I believe it's both days.
Well, I wonder if someone might do me a big favor. An old shipmate of mine by the name of Gil Rude, R-U-D, is the commanding officer of the Blue Angels, and we'd sure like to send him our very best.
Rick will be sure to pass that along.
Thank you very much. Tell him I wish he could serve with me up here for a few days.
Will do.
Special Control Houston continuing to take video from Discovery. Some spectacular views of the Texas coastline, Galveston, Gulf of Mexico area. The instrumentation and communications officer on this ship, a black, feeling justifiably triumphant that he was able to, through his control of the payload bay cameras, find and locate the coast and zoom in on Galveston. It's kind of a hard feat with the Discovery's payload bay facing the Earth.
Well, we're passing over the Cape now, of course, Houston, and I know I think my wife and daughter are down there, so please give them a hello for me.
We'll be sure to.
Discovery passing along at about 17,500 miles per hour. Instrumentation and Communications Officer Harry Black now has got a good view of the peninsula of Florida as Discovery passes over. This Mila pass as Discovery passed over a couple of the spots very familiar to the astronauts of the crew, both Houston and the Kennedy Space Center area. Commander Hauck remarked that to his best recollection there was an air show taking place in Houston this weekend. Indeed there is. It's an air show that is an annual event at Ellington Field, not far from the Space Center. Ellington Field is where the Aircraft Operations Division of Johnson Space Center's Flight Crew Operations Directorate operates, and that's where the T-38s and other aircraft associated with JSC Aircraft Operations are located. Hauck noting that the commander of the Blue Angels, gentleman he identified as Gil Rude, should be in town, and hoped we would pass along his best regards, and indeed that will be done. We're now taking a view from Discovery, again from the payload bay cameras, this one located on the aft bulkhead. We're looking at the left-hand side wing, scanning forward along the longeron sill and the payload bay doors.
We've got some good video this time.
Okay, which of the payload bay cameras would you like on?
Bravo and Delta.
Okay.
Discovery Houston, at this time we've got some real good Earth views.
Okay, good enough. We'll let you know when we've got our stuff together down here under the deck.
Okay.
Now you read the middeck.
And you're loud and clear on the middeck.
Okay, y'all can come inside whenever you get tired of the outside.
And Discovery Houston, we're on the middeck again.
Okay, we're having lunch here, and while the other guys are eating, we thought that y'all might be curious about what we see on our legs all the time, and that's our pockets, and the kinds of things that astronauts might carry in their pockets. Really, some people might call us because there's so many things in it, but just to give you an idea of some of the things that happen to be stuck in here, most important for those of us that like to eat is a spoon. It turns out the spoon is the universal utensil in space because just about everything will stew it, and you can use that to get it up into your mouth. Flashlight, little light, we use that to find a bathroom when we got everything dark inside at night. Got all kinds of pencils. Make changes that need to be erased. And a pen, ballpoint pen, make permanent changes. And a felt tip marker, and has to make big changes so that the commander can read them. And then also I carry a little bitty Swiss pocket knife, and I guess that's in case I get lost overboard and can't these other things. The really interesting stuff, though, is not in the flaps, but in the pocket itself. And, well, let's just go on a trip in here and let's see what we find. You still getting this okay, Houston?
That's affirmative, Dick.
Okay, first thing that you come across is food, and you know, there's all kinds of nuts and M&Ms and stuff, and we pack those in there in case FAO schedules us for a real late lunch like we did today. And then, of course, well, we don't need that. There's a little tape recorder, earphones, tapes, even a little speaker in there in case you want to let your friends enjoy your music. And we got a little Willie Nelson and some oldies and good goodies.
And Discovery Houston, we're about to go LOS Hawaii. We should pick you back up in about another minute or so.
Okay, we'll see you then.
The identification was a little hard to make because we weren't focused in on it, but it appeared to be Blaine Hammond, who is one of the captains on the ascent entry team. Somewhere in the interchange between mission control and the crew, there was a reference to someone.
Discovery Houston, we're back with you through Tidris. And Discovery, we've got good downlink of lunchtime in the middeck. Discovery Houston, back with you. We've got some good downlink of the middeck. How do you read? Discovery Houston, UHF Vandenberg, how do you read?
Loud and clear.
And Dick, you're loud and clear also. You got about 4 maggots here watching you that are all jealous of you eating your food.
Y'all will get your chance.
Wait, and a special note for Dave. Lynn, Matt, and Danny are down here in Mission Control watching you also, enjoying the show.
Almost as good as home cooking. Not quite.
That looks like a maggot to me.
That's right. As you can see, we have a maggot guest with us.
Honored.
The commander would like to talk, but he's all tied up. He wants to show you his peanut butter and jelly tortilla. Houston Discovery, give us a call when you get downlink TV again, if you do.
Discovery Houston, Rick, we've got you downlink TV and we've been watching it for the last 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah. Would you give us about a 60-second call on when you expect to lose TV?
Wilco.
About how much longer on the TV pass, Houston?
We've got just a little more than 1 minute right now.
Okay, well, you have up here now 4 former Capcoms and 1 former flight controller, and all of us are very proud of our associations with the Mission Operations Directorate. We have on board here an MOD patch that we're real proud to have brought up, and we look forward to bringing it back to y'all in Mission Control for a debrief when we come back. We sure appreciate all the outstanding work y'all have done to get us where we are today.
Rick, that's coming in real clear, and you got a bunch of people applauding down here. We really appreciate that. Thank you. We're back with you through Mila. We've got some good video again.
Okay, Houston.
And Discovery Houston, at this time, the Orbit 1 team is going to be handing over to the Orbit 2 team. We enjoyed it. We'll be talking to you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks all for the good and great work.
Discovery Houston, your 2 team is with you now, and we still have a good video of the mid-deck.
Okay, great. Let me check. I think I might have the flight deck TV set up also. Yeah, you can select that one if you like. You can see Pinky, and he's up there taking pictures of the Earth.
Okay, we're up on the flight deck now.
David, what I'm doing is taking 2 pictures, I'm sorry, Lacey. I'm taking 2 pictures at once with 70mm cameras. We've got 2 different kinds of film, the usual ASA-64 that we use and some ASA-200 that we're testing. It's a little more sensitive and allows us to take pictures in a little dimmer light closer to the terminator on the Earth. So we're testing these together. pointed in the same direction so we can compare the shots. And right now we're coming over the Caribbean, got some nice shots of Cuba and the island of Hispaniola, and we're heading out towards the other islands in the Caribbean.
Okay, we copy that, Pinky. Pinky, we understand you got some good coverage of Hurricane Helene's track earlier.
Where'd you hear that, Lacey?
I'm sorry, I meant Gilbert.
That's true. We got shots coming across the Yucatan and Cozumel, and some coming across the Gulf of Mexico where it went in ashore, and so we should have some good shots of that. We still, however, are looking for mesoscale lightning. We seem to be up during some pretty good global weather.
Okay, we're looking at an area where we may be able to give you some pointers.
This is Mission Control. We're now getting some Earth views from the payload bay cameras.
Houston, if you still got video, I'll put you on load camera A, and y'all have command of the payload bay cameras.
That's affirmed, Dick. We're looking outside now, and we've got a beautiful shot of Baja, California here, it looks like.
You got it.
This is Mission Control. We heard from Pinky Nelson while he was in the middeck putting on his launch entry suit that it was not an easy task to get the suits on in the small area of the middeck, and also that once you're inside the suit, temperature is pretty warm. The cabin temperature aboard Discovery right now is 82 degrees Fahrenheit with 60% humidity in the cabin. This is within the comfort zone for the cabin temperature and humidity, although it is a few degrees higher probably than the crew would ideally choose.
Discovery, we're handing back up to Tidris. Aloha Discovery, we're with you through Hawaii for the next 8 minutes.
Mission Control, we have payload bay views from Discovery's payload bay looking down over the Earth.
Discovery Houston with you through Hawaii for 8 minutes. Discovery, Houston through Hawaii. How do you read?
Loud and clear, Lacey. And
Okay.
we have some PTR of our pole stowage deployment activity if you'd like to see that.
Okay, we copy that, Pinky, or Dave. That looks good. Is that now? That's live TV there now. Is that right?
That's affirmative.
That is beautiful. Hawaii no Ka'oi.
Does that look familiar, Lacey?
It sure does. In fact, I think I see my mother out in the front yard there waving at you guys.
Ah, we see her.
This is Mission Control. We have gorgeous Earth views of the Hawaiian Emperor Islands chain, that chain of islands formed by ancient volcanoes on the Pacific plate, tectonic plate of the Earth.
Okay, and we'll give you the, we've got camera A now, downlink. I'm sorry, camera B.
Okay, that's a great view. We can just barely see the island still in the distance.
Great.
Discovery will be handing over to Tidris in about 1 minute. Order dumps right now, so I guess we're going to press on with that.
Okay, it's coming to you.
Hawaii no Ka'oi, Discovery.
Yeah, that's 2.
This is Mission Control. We're getting lovely Earth view photography of the Hawaii and Emperor Island chain from the payload bay of Discovery. These islands were formed hundreds of thousands of years ago by ancient extinct volcanoes, and they reside on the Pacific tectonic plate.
Discovery Houston, that's a beautiful view of the big island there. All of us here in Mission Control have surely been enjoying the Kona coffee sent to us courtesy of the Onizuka family.
Well, that's great, and we've been enjoying a little bit up here on orbit also.
Ono da kai, na?